in my mind, I first have to write down everything, but I have to write down the beginning, the middle, and the end, and then break out exactly what story I want to tell in Act 1, what story I want to tell in Act 2, and what story I want to tell in Act 3, right?
So thank you for taking the invite up and speaking with me today on Keeping It Real in the film world. I was starting to call this. I rebranded to make it about all storytelling and everything. But welcome, and thank you, guests. Thank you, listeners, for another edition of Keeping It Real Story Time with Sweet Tea. Guest today is, you're showing up as Rose, but your name is Brooke.
So it's Brooke Lynne, which is what everybody calls me, but Brooke Lynne Ford. But the author name and the pen name is Lynne Ford.
Okay. Well, congratulations. Thanks again, and start out with a few questions on what you immediately just sent me, and you just responded to me just a few seconds ago before we got started. I do this for me and everyone's struggling to fulfill a dream. What are you here to support people in with their dreams? How are you doing that?
Well, there's a lot of different ways, but mostly my story is somewhat autobiographical, some fiction, but it's just to let people know that not to give up on your dreams. It feels sometimes very difficult. And I think when we first started talking, T, that's what you heard me say, is that sometimes you get discouraged because you go through so much trying to get your dream off the ground. But I just feel like you need to just keep pressing. There's going to be those great high moments, and sometimes there's going to be the low points, but you just got to keep pressing on. So I'm just doing this for everybody that's in the struggle to get their stories out there and get their voice heard. And one of the ways I'm doing that, I work with an organization called the Red Mentorship Program down in Florida. We have about 20 students every year, and we teach them filmmaking and let them tell their stories about what's going on in their world and their environment. So that's one of the ways that I try to do it for everybody that's in the struggle, and for young people coming up that are struggling and dealing with the things that they're dealing with in their communities, in their homes, whatever it is, and giving them a voice and a platform to tell their stories.
And tell them, and not just teaching them the exact ways to get their concept, their ideas out, and so it can be heard in the right ways. That sounds amazing.
It is. It's if they want to go forward and actually be filmmakers, yeah, I would take the time to show them the other steps and working the film industry market. For the most part, it's to even open them up to the fact that they could be filmmakers, for them to even see that their stories can be told, that they can have a certain set of tools and skill set, even with their phones, to be able to make stories, edit them, and then present them. And that's what we do. We have a competition for our students and stuff. So yeah, it's pretty interesting to see what they come up with, because a lot of these young people have never even thought to make actual shorts or features, but they use their phones every day for everything. So they already have the skill set to actually record something, right? They're making TikToks and stuff on IG and Facebook. You already can do this. So now I'm just giving them kind of the structure on how to tell a story, beginning, middle, and end, and letting them tell their stories about what they're experiencing. It's been interesting to hear the stuff. Like, some of these young people are dealing with addiction and parents that are addicted. Some are dealing with immigration and ICE and deportation. You'll be surprised what these young people are talking about. It's not all fun and games. Some of this stuff is very serious. So I'm glad to be able to give them a platform and a voice.
Yes, for sure, amazing. Use all the skills that have been given to them already, what they have, and you're here to help them and support them in creating a plan on to add to those skills. Amazing.
as well as teach them other goals and stuff about life and job preparedness and going on to college and stuff like that. So it's a great program, Red Mentorship Program. Shout out to Storm McCullough because that's my partner in crime on that. So,
And would definitely want to get the links to all that
oh,
to share that in the notes for this as well.
absolutely.
So starting with just a few basic questions. Again, you said a lot of your name and everything already, I know, but again, who are you and what do you do?
So I am Lynne Ford, aka Brooke Lynne Ford. The Brooklyn is because I'm from Brooklyn. You probably can hear that New York accent. But what New York accent? But um, I am an author, probably first, and screenwriter, filmmaker, producer, sometimes a director, always craft services. So those are the things that I do. I have a regular 9 to 5. I'm office admin, but that's not my passion. That's not my love or my goal or my dream. So working in this film industry is definitely my goal and my dream to make content uh, for TV and for film. So that's what I do. My book is Lies of Blue, which I need to go get the little flyer that's supposed to be sitting right here so I could just go Lies of Blue, but it's sitting across the right now. But, yeah. Oh, actually, I can do one better. The book is Lies of Blue, so the book is actually here. Ta-da! And I've been working on making that into a film now for a couple of years. So it's been a journey. It's definitely been a journey trying to make this happen. But like I said, I'm not giving up. It's been optioned a couple of times, and I'm just still pushing forward. I've relaunched the book. I originally released it in 2009, and now I'm relaunching it. So it's interesting and it's kind of fun, a little nerve wracking, but definitely fun to get back out there and doing book signings and talking to people and pitching. So the business of film.
So these first few questions I actually got from like another there's 5 questions I'm condensing it to, but I got it from a video I got like on introducing yourself and it's supposed to like help people to realize like not a purpose or maybe you know the purpose but like help you get a little more clear like but so the next question I ask who are you what you do who do you do that for it's
Right. So like I said earlier, that this what I do for me as far as it's my dream to do it, but also for people that I know that want to tell stories and have stories to tell. So anyone that's a creative, I'm doing this for. I intend to succeed at it. That way you know you can succeed at it. So
okay
that's pretty much what I'm doing it for.
and then fourth second to last question these series what is the overall expectation of whatever what is you do what's the and bear with these questions and
Yeah, because
everything.
that question kind of threw me off. I didn't really have an answer for it. Like, what was the expectation of what? My ultimate goal, I guess, would some point be getting my movie made, being able to see it on TV or seeing it on the big screen. Like that's every filmmaker or every creator's end game. You want your stuff. I mean, now it's so different. If I saw it on Netflix, or if I saw it on Hulu, or if I saw it on wherever, I would feel like, okay, I accomplished my goal for this particular project. I want to see my projects out there. So that would be my end game, would be like, yeah, get all my projects done. I've got a few of them. So I would love to see them come to fruition, get made. People love them or not, but at least they're made. It's such a birthing process when you are creating films. It's just like it's your kid. You're having a baby here. You're creating this whole story and this whole life, and you want to give birth and see it actually happen. So, yeah.
And then the expected change of the person who's gonna watch or read this book, the expected change of that person.
I definitely do. Everyone that's read Lies of Blue has said that it's touched them in some way. A lot of people started to read the book thinking that this was a woman's story. Oh, this is a woman's story. But then after you get into the book and you realize, like, this is a cautionary tale for any and everybody. This is a story that's really street and really gritty and really hard. Uh, but it makes you look at yourself, makes you look at self-esteem, makes you look at choices. And just so you guys know, because you don't even know what the book is about. So Lies of Blue is the story of an aspiring artist who takes a job in a prison only to find out she's as dangerous as the inmate she's watching. It is training day meets Oz with a twist to set it off. So it's a very gritty story. If you're into crime fiction, things of that, or urban fiction, this is the book for you. Uh, yeah, you're going to be changed when you read it. You're definitely going to be changed when you read it. I was changed when I wrote it. So I think it's going to make you have a different view of what really goes on, like in a correctional facility. In fact, for like right now, you hear a lot of stories about the Khalif Browder incident that happened on Rikers Island. A young man that was incarcerated, and I believe wrongly incarcerated, and he was very young. He was put in with adults. Anyway, he ended up killing himself. And this story kind of gives you some insight into what goes on uh, once you actually leave the free world and actually are incarcerated. So there's a lot of
Mm.
different levels to the story. It's looking at life from being an officer, looking at life from being an inmate, looking at life from being the person running the institution. There's a lot of different levels and different perspectives here, but the story and the layers all get peeled back by our main character, which is our protagonist, Lynne Ford. So I think anyone is going to be changed, and most people I know are changed when they read it. Like they can't believe it. They're like, "Wow, this story is really crazy." Yeah, it'll definitely keep you on the edge of your seat. Definitely.
So this is your current, and it might lead into my next question. This is your current thing. Is what's going on right now? What are you excited about today? Like, what's the next step? What are you excited about?
So I'm excited about the relaunch and going out and doing the book signings. But besides this project, I have another project called Grinding, which is the story of the musical family, the Poindexters. You may not know the Poindexters by name, but they wrote 250, 500, somewhere between 250 and 500 songs for people like the OJs and for the Persuasions. And so these are like older groups. However, they worked with them and managed them. And then the Poindexter songs have been sampled in hip hop by almost everybody. But straight off the top of my head, Trick Daddy, Will Smith, Jay-Z, 50 Cent, Kanye West, Amy Winehouse, all of these people and tons more have sampled the music of the Poindexters. And so the documentary, which happened to win Audience Choice in the Pocono Mountains Film Festival, and I'm very happy and excited about that. Um, the documentary shines a light and chronicles their life from the time that they were children, leaving the projects in Chicago and Virginia and coming up to New York and signing their first writing deals with the music companies. And, it's the ups and downs of their life in the music industry. So it's definitely very interesting to find out all the people they worked with and some people that they worked with that, shafted them and some people that haven't. And their biggest song, which everyone knows, became a movie. It's a thin line between love and hate. So it's really the telling of their story up until that song became a movie, and then everything that happened after that song became a movie. And it's very interesting. Just learn a lot about the business. Like how we're talking film, this is a film about what takes place in the music business. And so you really, really get to, see behind what goes on and you learn a lot about what you should and shouldn't do in the music industry. So I'm excited about that too. And I have a web series called The Gray Area. So it's a couple of things going on. I'm writing right now on some other things as well. Um, yeah, The Gray Area is a it's a 30 episode web series. We're going to condense it down to probably 3 main shows. And it's a love story about a guy and a girl fall in love in college, manage to screw it up, and they try to get back together. And it's about all the drama they go through because love is not always black or white. There's always a gray area. So there you go.
Very interesting, very cool. We'll get everything that you just listed, and you got a lot going on. Got the documentary, got the the book, and you're turning that into a screenplay.
Mhm.
Have you? Where are you at in the screenplay now? Is that in the beginning
I'm
stages?
sitting here rewriting today. Today we are rewriting. So yeah, that's where we're at. It's like I have 2 completely finished screenplays that other people kind of did, and everyone thinks that, and I agree. I probably wasn't there 10 years ago. The book is so powerful and impactful because it's my voice. The screenplays are both good, but it needs to be my voice. So I've now decided, you know what? Suck it up, Buttercup, and sit down and write the screenplay yourself. So, and I've got my producers like, you need to do this yourself. Your voice in the book is so compelling and so it like touches your core that your voice has to be the one that's writing the story. So I'm typing. I stopped typing to do this right now. So, and when I finish tonight, I'll be back typing. So yeah, I'm almost finished Act 1, going into Act 2. So yeah, it's work.
Um,
It's work.
I'll let you get a few more questions in, and I'll let you get back. I'll respect your time and let you get back to
Okay.
doing your work. And I know you
It's okay.
said you, yeah. But anyway, I want to, like, for you and for anyone else that may be listening who's maybe new to the process
Mhm.
of writing screenplays, being film or storytelling, writing a book. And so far, what's been working for you?
For me, and I just did it when I started the screenplay because I did it with the book. In my mind, I first like have to write down everything, but I have to write down the beginning, the middle, and the end, and then break out exactly what story I want to tell in Act 1, what story I want to tell in Act 2, and what story I want to tell in Act 3, right? And so we all know, as far as the book, the difference with writing a book and writing a movie. So in a movie, you're more restricted as far as time. You don't have 800 pages to tell the story, right? So a movie, you've got 90, maybe 105 pages if you're going to do a regular movie. I wouldn't say come out with your first movie being 3 hours. That's something you do when you have a franchise that's blowing up and people want to sit 3 hours and watch your movie. But straight out the gate, I'm trying to give you an hour and a half, maybe an hour and 40 minutes, no more than 2 hours at all. So each page being a minute, I'm somewhere at, we need to make these stories between 90 and 100 pages, maybe 105. So with me doing that, as far as the screenplay, I break out each act into like a 30-page increment. And then I decide in the beginning, you tell the story and you introduce your characters. And then in the second act, you raise the stakes, right? So you now come in with whatever the conflict is going to be in your story. It becomes revealed. Okay, this is the conflict. And you bring your antagonist in and see how they're going to affect your protagonist. And then in the third act, you come up with your resolution. Mind you, you have now raised your stakes as high as they can go by the time you get to your third act. So everything comes to a head. Whatever the conflict is, it's going to reach its peak in that third act. And then you're going to have your resolution, whatever that resolution is, good, bad, or ugly. And your character arc is going to follow that because people want to see where your character has grown or changed or developed, whether it's your antagonist or your protagonist or your supporting cast. You want to see growth and change in these characters. So that's kind of my format. I just stick with that. And I just sat down and did that with the screenplay. I took the book again in my mind and broke it out into like a 3-act story, and then started just writing out what I want to tell in the first act, second act, and the third act. Mind you, always remembering that I got to raise the stakes, make it more intense, and make it crescendo at the end. Because I hate for a movie to fall flat after you kept me all the way up here and all the way up here, and then ending. Like, who wants that? So that's kind of like my little formula.
Yeah. Keep them engaged. What I'm hearing you say is what's working for you is you're staying on the simple but yet that the process that works, the 3-act structure,
For me,
the beginning story. You have a climax, and then you bring everything to a resolution
exactly.
with the onions peeling along the way of each character of each maybe how many maybe 2 different storylines and whatever.
Right, because you've got a bunch of under themes going on underneath, right? So you got to find a way to work that all together. I don't know if I've learned to marry
Yeah.
that part yet. So that we'll find out as I write this first draft, and that's why they have a second and a final draft. So first draft, I'm just kind of putting it all down there. I'll go over it with my producer, and we'll go through it, and then we'll tweak it. That's how it goes. You tweak and rewrite and rewrite. And here's the crazy thing: even after all of this writing you do, somebody options it or buys it, or some studio buys it, and then they go back and say, "Well, we need a rewrite." You may not even be the person doing the rewrite. Somebody else might be doing the rewrite. Somebody they like to do the rewrite. You're just sitting there like, well, wait, what happened to my story? So, but
Exact. Perfect segue into the second part of this. Results are feedback. What I just really recently been hearing in the last few months for me. Results are feedback. The good, the bad, the ugly. We just talked about what works and what are some things that doesn't work.
excuse me, things that have not worked. Um, apparently, um, apparently other people trying to tell the story. So if it's your story and it's your own and it's your voice, I would say just bite the bullet and go do it. And I've been so afraid of not getting it right. I kind of stifled myself. And now I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to worry about getting it right. I'm going to worry about telling a good story and making it thorough and getting. So that didn't work as far as trying to get other people to write the story. What else didn't work is doubt. Doubt does not work. Doubt, your doubt will keep you on the fence. Like doubt and fear will have you. Like fear either does one or two things. It will either force you to move or it will freeze you into place. And I have been kind of frozen in place, and I don't like that at all. So I'm now like in a space of I gotta move. I gotta make something happen. And that's where I'm at with it. So those are the things that don't work for me. Fear and also you gotta be able to take constructive criticism. I can take constructive criticism. I can't take a whole bunch of criticism, but I can take constructive criticism. Like if it's all just negative, I start to feel like, okay. But if it's something and I can actually receive it and like, oh, you know what? I never thought about it that way. I haven't looked at it that way. Maybe I should change what I'm doing. And now I think I'm a little bit more receptive to that. When I first wrote the book, it was like, you can't tell me about this. This is my story. But now I listen to it and go, hey, you know what? I never thought about that. Sometimes you have to step out of your own head and get out of your own way and hear what somebody else has to say. So those are the kind of things that, I learned from what I was doing that wasn't working.
What are some things you do to get out of your own head? Make things more fun. Do you move?
Yeah, I probably go to a movie so I can turn my own brain off. But now when I go to movies, I look at them differently. Like, okay, I look and I can't just enjoy the movie. I'm like, okay, there's CGI right there, or okay, this is where the plot twist should come in. Like I analyze the damn movie now. I can't just watch the movie like I used to before I started working on movies. Excuse me. I used to just be able to watch a movie and suspend my own belief enough to enjoy the movie. Now I'm super critical of every doggone thing. Now, how could that really happen? That really wouldn't happen. Or I'm analyzing how they made a special effect happen. Like, oh, wow. So the next time I go to film something, I should do this, this, and this. Just watch the movie. Just watch the movie and eat the popcorn. Could you just do that, please?
Right, watch the movie the first time, then go back and then really look at it. Watch,
Right,
just take the story in first.
right. So that's what when I want to get out of my own head, that's what I do. Or I go chill by the water. Getting out of my own head definitely usually involves me being by some water. So, yeah, sorry. So, yeah,
Water, yeah, by the beach
about
or
water, it calms me. Yes, the beach, ocean, lake, whatever it is, I'm there, and it kind of like gets me out of my own head, and then I can sit back and go, okay,
yeah.
let's revisit this and look at it a different way. But it requires me to get out of the house, get away from the script, and stop stressing over it. Absolutely.
All right, good. We touched on lots in just about 20 minutes of an episode, so we touched on a lot of things so far. I'd like to like get into gratitude and being. What are you grateful for?
Gosh, oh wow. So you haven't read the story, but been through some stuff, been through some shit. And I'm just grateful every day I wake up right now. Like when I was younger, it was always like, okay, I should be rich by now. I should be a millionaire by now. I'm so smart. I should know all this, or I should have all this done. And when these things weren't happening, I was like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? And now I don't have that mindset so much. And now I've gotten to more of like, how about just be thankful you woke up this morning? Thankful that you're somewhat sane and half your right mind. Like, just if you think about how hard a lot of people have it, it allows you to sit back and really take stock in your own life and be like, wow, I really need to be more grateful. I need to be thankful. I got a roof over my head, clothes on my back, food in my stomach. I have a couple of jobs, several revenue streams. What the hell am I bitching about? Like, there's a lot of people here, or a lot of people that aren't here, that were here just a couple of weeks or months ago. And I think about that. And it affects me, and I try to just stay positive and thankful and continue to do the work, to be able to help people and to give back. So those are the things that make me grateful, like to be able to help people that are less fortunate than me. And I'm not anybody special. I'm not Oprah. I don't have a bunch of money or anything anywhere like that, but I just try to help people where I can. And that kind of keeps me humble because it reminds me my situation could always be worse.
Beautiful. You said you're doing a bunch of things. You're working a 9 to 5 in administration
Hmm.
job for the day, and then you're doing this on the side right now. When
Hmm.
did you realize passion for writing?
I started writing when I was a kid. So my first thing when I was like 5, I started writing poetry. And then I wrote like a whole Broadway play when I was 12. And then after I saw Star Wars, I was like, I can rewrite that with my own characters, my friends that I grew up with. So I've been writing for a long time. I didn't really know that there was a proper format to it, but I've been writing. Like I wrote a whole trilogy from ages 16 to 18. That's each part of the trilogy is at least 250 pages. So yeah, I didn't know that there was a format to doing this, but I knew then that I loved it. And no, I never, pushed myself forward to do it. But what happened, I want to say when I started filming The Gray Area, because this was my real first time writing something and then, getting actors to come audition and then start filming it. It was a whole nother level. Like there's love. And then it's when you find that thing that you love to do that makes you feel like, oh my God, this is it. This is it. Like I used to rap when I was younger, and that was awesome for me. but I didn't follow through with it. And then, of course, I got to an age where it didn't make sense to try to do it anymore. But making film and doing this web series, what I realized was I love to see people bring my words to life. That for me was like, whoa, that blew me away. That just blew me away. Like they took the exact scene that I wrote on this page and just did it in front of me. And I was moved like I never saw this shit before. And I'm the one that wrote it. Like I just was like, oh my God, this is awesome. And in that moment, and that must have been about 10 years ago, right? Probably 10 years ago. And I was like, wow, I really love, this is what I want to do. I love this. I love this. And I don't have to worry about an age cap on doing this. So I can do this as long as I do it well forever. And it really gives me joy. It just gives me so much joy. Like how they say, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. That's how I feel about this. I feel like when I'm doing that, when I'm watching these actors portray these characters that I created, I am so in the zone. I am so in my joy. I'm just there. I just love it. So besides when I was younger writing, probably 10 years ago, I kind of really got back into the groove of it and really fell in love with it.
That's beautiful. And suppose I if I can remember where my thought process here a minute. You mentioned a couple things. You mentioned like one thing that took my ear a minute was you wrote a Broadway play.
In my mind, it was a Broadway.
Oh, in your mind?
It was a play. In my mind, it was going to be on Broadway, but yeah, no, it was. But the fact that at 16, I just started writing this story because in my mind, I was like, this would be like a Broadway play, and yeah.
Did they,
And then
did,
I wrote 3
did
parts.
like a did a school take that and put it into production?
I never did anything with it besides like give it to
Okay.
my friends, and all my friends would read it and was like, this is hilarious. It wasn't funny, like it was love and drama, and
Mm-hmm.
it was like a whole feature film, but I didn't know what to do with it then. I just was writing because I love to write. Sometimes my cousin comes over and she's like, yeah, you still got that play? In fact, she read it last year and she started reading it back to me. Oh God, it was hilarious just listening to it. Like, did I really talk like that when I was 16? But it just made me laugh. I didn't feel bad about it. I was like, at least I tried it.
Did you ever try to take it and tweak it for today in your current language and make it improve the language a little bit?
Yeah, no. That
Or
would really,
is it just for back then that it wouldn't work right now?
I would have to update everything. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I would have to update everything. Yeah, update everything.
Yeah.
But the story would still work. The story itself would still work. The characters, they wouldn't work. Yeah. I had put a lot of celebrities into the story, and most of them are dead or in retirement. It wouldn't work right now. But back then, it would have been hot. I'm telling you, it would have been hot.
That's cool. Oh yeah, and the other thing was yeah, seeing you write down the words on paper and someone you then just see those words transform into people on the screen or people on the stage or and you
That
write down
does
the
it for me.
words.
Yeah,
That's an awesome.
once I create the story and to see people actually act it out. Yeah, the gray area did that for me. The gray area was really just, and I did a trailer for Liza Blue, which was the same thing, but it was just a little bit different with the gray area because this is me taking a story that wasn't so much something that I lived. This is me just creating a story off the top of my head and and then just watching to see where people took it. Because with actors, as much as I had in my own mind envisioned how the scene should go, um, you kind of have to let actors do their thing, right? Act, right? You give them the script And there may be a specific way a line needs to be said, but you don't want to micromanage them the whole time, right? You want to give them the script and let them do what they do. And what I found out was that when I let these actors do what they do, they turn some of these scenes into actual movie magic. Like I was sitting there crying like I didn't know shit was going to happen. Oh my God, did they just say that? It's like, you wrote this, stupid. But it was just, they just really took it to another level. And that's priceless to me. Like that really does my heart joy. Like I could do that all day, every day.
Yeah, when you give a screenplay to a director and they have these actors set and everything's cast, and I always heard it's better for the director to, what is it, either 5 or 10 words to give a direction to an actor and actress. And I think it's just actually 5 words, but I can't remember for sure.
Okay, we'll go
but
with 5.
The less words the better, I'm sure, and the less they say, and it depends on like how good of the actor and actress they are too.
Right, because if it's a good actor or actress, they're all actors as far as I'm concerned.
And they don't need as much direction.
Right. You could just give them the instruction and then like, got it, and then they'll go do it. And that's what you want.
Totally.
Yeah.
List a bunch, and we'll go over a last little bit of this, and the list of everything you did. You wrote the book and everything. We'll list it all out for you, and we'll have it up in the notes, and I'll get those after this interview and everything. But a few wrap up questions here. I have, starting with, out of all things, what is your biggest achievement? Maybe not in film, maybe in your life so far. What is your biggest achievement? And why was it memorable?
Life, just being able to come out of a horrible space and still be here. For me to still be here right now at this point in my life is a huge accomplishment. I came through the fire and I'm still here. So that tells me I'm made of some tough stuff, and I'm going to be all right. So that's part of it. The other big thing that I feel really happy about was in 2012, I went to Cannes and was part of the Producers Network. And that was a great experience to be able to travel to France and just network with all these people at the film festival, see some of the films, and just get the whole film festival experience. As I was going to film festivals since like 2006, but to go to Cannes is a whole nother level. Like, so that's an accomplishment that I'm still proud of. I'm still really happy that I got to do that with the Producers Network. A few things I'm really happy about. The Red Mentorship Program that I told you about. I used to be executive director of the African American Women in Cinema Florida chapter. That's a 20-year organization, and I ran the Florida chapter for about 3 years. So we did events down in Florida, and I was really proud of that. Yeah, so I'm just kind of content with the strides I've made, kind of coming into the film industry later in my life, but still not letting that stop me. You know what I mean? It's like you can't let your age or anything stop you from doing what it is you really want to do. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Mm-hmm. And I want to grateful to connect with you today, Filmmaker, and I want to acknowledge you for showing up for you and for others, teaching others how to actually craft and design their voice with the talents that they already have. I want to acknowledge you for showing up for yourself and others.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Thomas, for having me on. I want to know more about what you're doing, and thank you for having me on here. And I know this is not the last time we're going to talk, so anytime you want me to come back, like when I get this made and this becomes a movie that you guys can actually turn on the TV or go into the movie theater and watch, guys.
A feature on Netflix.
A feature on Netflix. We're going to speak that.
Say it. Speak that in. Or Netflix or Amazon or wherever.
Amazon, some great streaming network. You guys are going to take Lives of Blue and you're going to love it.
Yeah, one of the new many streaming networks out there.
Exactly. So it'll go wherever the universe wants it to go. And I will be back here having the same conversation with you, just being regular. Maybe just with a little beach house
And
in Liverpool, but just being regular.
before I get into my bonus wrap up questions, how are you gonna set the like dream,
So,
declare, deliver? Set, dream it. You're gonna set your declarations and you set
exactly.
a little bit each day.
Exactly.
What are you gonna do today towards that goal, and then deliver on that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I will more than happy have you back on to talk about that. You have the book, and now you have the streaming program out as well. I'll be more than happy to have you back on talking about that.
Cool.
Getting to bonus questions here to wrap up today with
Okay.
you. This was fun talking with a writer, documentary, book, screenwriter. And the first of the questions: what do you want to learn from someone who has seen success multiple times? Like, is there a person you mentioned Oprah before?
Um, yeah, but I mean, in the film world, I probably want to meet Ryan Coogler. I want to. I've met Viola Davis, so that's that's off the bucket list already. But uh,
Who
just some
is?
of the
I
top
didn't, I didn't quite catch the first name. Ryan
Ryan Coogler. Hmm.
Coogler. All right, I
Uh,
have to look him up. I haven't heard of him, but I'll have to look him up for sure.
um, Black Panther. So I'm sure you
Okay,
see this work.
okay.
I'm sure you see this work. Um, I'd love to sit down and talk with Denzel. Like, there's so many people. I know that Robert Townsend does uh, a pitch, like he preps you to pitch a pitch workshop. And I've been to that before. So I mean, there's so many people I just want to learn from constantly. So I can learn from anybody. I expect to learn from you. So uh, just how to keep success going, just how to keep it going. And when it gets crazy, um, or when things get quiet, how do you keep yourself motivated to get back to the next level, next successful thing? You know what I mean? Because everyone's successful and then some point they hit a wall and then you gotta like, okay, figure out how do I maneuver and get back to a place of success. So that's kind of what I want to learn from successful people is how do you stay up or how do you get back up into it when you're kind of down?
And yeah, my take that's it, success has multiple levels of it, and like we're about to finish a podcast episode. That's success. You're completing something. That's success. Celebrate
Exactly.
that. When this podcast gets reached, when you reach a specific amount of audience,
Right.
you set a
That's the
goal for
mm,
a level or amount of people that you want to reach. It'll
right.
be another point of success. So there's different
Right.
levels, and it depends on your goals. It depends.
I agree. I
But
agree.
completion, it's small. Celebrate the small wins. Celebrate the big wins.
Yeah.
We kind of touched on this question all throughout the episode, but and condense into a little bit more. Why do you think the film industry is important in our world?
Uh, well, all throughout history, um, and basically because of history, we need films. So films tell stories. Films are our history. Films teach us. Films teach us. Films help us to hopefully help us to be better. Um, help us to see ourselves sometimes in our best and in our worst light. But we need to learn from what was negative and improve upon it. And we need to rejoice in what's positive and keep moving forward with it and try to do more of it and spread it. So film is necessary to tell everyone's stories, because everyone has a story. So everyone's stories can get told, and there is an avenue for every story.
My goal is to reach everyone who has a story, which is everyone, 8 billion people on this world, as much as them as possible.
Exactly.
And because there's 8 billion stories on this in this world, and
Exactly.
my mission is to reach as much as possible.
You will.
Thank you for that.
Go for it.
Last
Just
question. It's a themed question. It started
oh,
like my first podcast I ever started listening to. It's a spin-off spoof, or not a spoof, but it's a I take it from the question that he asked. If you ever heard of the life entrepreneur life coach, I butchered that, but Lewis Howes and the School of Greatness. He asked some questions, and I took the inspiration and I turned it into a reverse engineering story type of question. I call this write your perfect ending to your story. Where are you? With people you are around you, the location, where is that, the day, like if you want to think that far in advance, like perfect
my
ending to your
perfect
perfect story.
ending. My perfect ending has what's left of my family close by. Um, a lot of my family is elders, so a lot of them have passed. But for the younger members of my family and have them around or close by, I definitely would want to have a significant other right next to me, very close by. My dream has always been to have a beach house in Malibu. So when the big earthquake comes, my house will just
Hmm.
float off into the ocean and see y'all. So I'm serious. Like
That's what
I've
this.
always
Yeah,
visioned.
that's
I've
what they
always
say about California.
so that's like I may be joking, but I'm halfway serious. Like I definitely
Yep.
would rather be in Cali. Just I'd be by the water. I would be by the water, and I can like that is such a serene place for me to be. So what will have happened? I will have at least made 4 or 5 successful films. Uh, maybe I won an Oscar, maybe I haven't. Uh, but I'm not making that the be all end all to the level of my success anymore. Like I used to always think that. And of course, like everyone else, have practiced my Oscar winning speech in the mirror 1,000 times. But you know what? If that never happens and I still am able to make money, sustain myself doing the thing that I love the most, then yeah, I am successful. And that is my happy ending. Off into the sunset with me, my boo, some good food, some champagne. I'm there. I'm there. And
Perfect
hopefully,
ending.
hopefully I will have
Yes.
changed some lives. My goal
And
is
you
to
will.
my goal is to leave this planet better than I found it. That's it. That's my
You
purpose.
will.
That's what God put me here for. So that's it.
Going on this path, this current path you're going, you will definitely. Just keep it up
I will.
and
Thanks for the
take
inspiration.
take on yourself. And this just FYI, I forgot to add in there too. It's way, way, way in the future that perfect
Okay.
into your
Way,
perfect
way,
day.
way to the future.
You got a while before that ending.
Way, way, way in the future.
So
Yeah.
before end, we got a few more minutes to just touch list everything that you mentioned, all the your
Things that I'm
book,
doing
what your
and
book's
where you
called,
can find.
what's
Sure. So the book is Liza Blue, right? So if you guys can see it, it is Liza Blue by Lynne Ford. That is me, which
I
we're
would
working on making a movie.
and I would
I have
definitely be going to get that book
yeah,
myself.
just let me know. In fact, I can autograph it for you and ship it out to you. So we'll definitely keep in touch, and I'll make sure that happens to you for you. It's on Amazon if you want it as well. I'm in the middle of redoing my website because I'm relaunching everything. So you'll be able to go to lynneforde.com, lynneforde.com, and you'll be able to get that. So just give me like I want to say another 3 weeks, and that will happen. But you can go to Facebook right now and go to Lynne Forde, LYNNE FORDE, and I will come up. And I have two Facebook pages because one is for Liza Blue, the other one is for The Gray Area, the web series. So you guys can find me there. You can also find me on Instagram at Brooke, BROOKELYNNE FORDE, Brooke Lynne Ford, all one word. And yeah, just reach out to me. The documentary Grinding, we're talking to a couple of networks about it now. So hopefully you'll be able to see that next year, actually on TV. But it's called Grinding. And then it's The Gray Area. And other things that I'm doing and writing and working on. I've got some top secret stuff that's in the mix right now. So yeah, just guys, follow me, check me out. Yeah, if you Google Liza Blue, you'll see all the pages and all the stuff that we've done for the first 10 years. And now that we're relaunching, there's going to be new stuff coming out. So yeah, you put in Liza Blue, Lynne Ford is going to come up. So there you go.
I'm definitely interested in that grinding too, and that you when they in a
Yeah,
year from now as well
awesome.
too. But
Awesome.
thanks again, and I will let you get back to work.
Tag
So make
nabbit.
this happen.
Gotta make this happen. Time to go make the donuts.
Make it happen. Dream declare delivered. Thanks for this interview today.
You're very
Brooke
welcome.
Lynne
Bye.
Ford.
Brooklyn Ford.
Lies. I'm reversing the order. Blue.
Blue of Lies.
I'm already forgetting it. Blue of
Lies of Blue
Lies. Grinding coming out in a year. And Gray.
Area. Mm-hmm.
Gray Area.
Mm-hmm. You can catch The Gray Area season 1. It's on UBC TV. So if you guys log on your phones and go to UBC TV, that's UBC TV, you can
Okay.
see season 1 of The Gray Area there. So there you have it.
Very cool.
All
All
right,
right.
guys.
Can't wait to have you back on.
Here, and you
Talk
stay
later.
inspired and stay blessed. And thanks for having me.
All right.
Take care, everybody. Bye bye.